Well, in this video, I wanted to explain to you how easy it is to start working with databases and how easy it is to start working and learning the SQL language. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, so SQL, right? And SQL is used in all the relational databases that you can think of. So let's explore more. Let's see how easy it is to get started. All right, let's get started. We're gonna call these database 101 for mere mortals. Okay, so if you don't know anything about database, I hope with this quick lesson you can learn just a little bit about it. So when we are working with relational databases, all of them use a language called SQL or SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. That's pretty much English, and then you can pretty much write your commands in English, and then you will see the results. So first thing, I'm using a tool here called SQL Developer, and it's a free tool that you can use to connect to an Oracle database. It works also with other databases, but mostly use it for connecting to Oracle. All right, so first thing here, we're gonna create a connection. So let me just change the source of the capture here so you can see the dialog for the connection. I'm gonna just name this connection hole19c. I'm gonna specify my username. The authentication type is default, which will pretty much use the password, which I'm gonna type here. I'm gonna save the password. The role is default because this is not a special user that would require a different role to be selected. Here I specify my IP address of my database server, which is this one, the listener port where the listener is listening for connections, and the service that's registered to the listener. So this is a container database, and inside a container database we have pluggable databases. So here I specify the service name of my pluggable database. If I hit test, I can test the connection. I see the status is success, and then I hit connect. Once I connect, let me change the source again so you will see the right window. All right, so once you see this connection, if you come here to this menu on the left and then we expand the connection, I'm connected as the user SOE, and the user SOE is actually a schema in the database. So this means that this user also has data, and data is stored in tables pretty much in a relational database. So if I expand the tables, I can see my user, my SOE user tables. So if I click on the customers table, I will see pretty much here what we see is pretty much a description of the table. What is the description of the table? If you run the describe command, describe table XYZ or describe customers in the SQL command, this is pretty much what will be shown, or a bit less than that. But really, to get the point, here I have the column, the name of the columns of my table, the data type of each column, if the columns are nullable or not, if there is any default data value for these for each of these columns, the column ID, and if there are any comments for the column. So this is pretty much metadata. This is not actual data. If we click on the data tab here, imagine what you will get in return. The data that's stored in this table. So here we can see the data, and we haven't typed any SQL command yet. So if you have privileges to connect to a database, if you have privileges to read data or select data, which is usually the privilege that you need to read data. In Oracle, we also have the read privileges starting from version 12c. Anyway, we're not going to get into details of privileges here, but you need privileges to connect to the database and to read data, okay? So usually you need the select privilege. And then you can see what I'm seeing, Here, we can, let's say, you see that this cust email column for row number 20 here is a little bit messy. So if I double click here and then I click on this pencil button here to edit this row, I can change the data here for this column in the specific row, and then I hit OK. Then you see that there is a star sign here for the row number 20. The star sign means that this data or this row was changed, but the change was not yet made effective. So to make this change effective to the database, we have to click this commit button up here. So once we hit commit, then we see the update statement written down here. So if you wanted to change this data, you could just come here and use the same update statement, and you could run it, and it would change the data. So what actually happened behind the curtain was, when I added that button, this update statement was executed against the database, and then the commit was performed, right? That was exactly what happened. So if I change some other column, so this one for this row, so row number 10, there is the customer class column. That's kind of weird. There is some weird data here. So if I come here, I edit this data, and then I try to, I can polish this a little bit. So, there were some blank spaces there. I hit OK. This is uncommitted, and I can do more changes if I want. So let's adjust this email as well, which is kind of messy. Then hit OK here as well. I can come edit this one too. Make this change, make this other change. Hit OK. So we have 4 rows to be committed. Once I hit commit, 4 update statements are executed. So you can see here, you can learn just by doing this, when working with databases. The command will be shown in the output here in the messages log section of your SQL developer screen, and that, you can use that just to learn. So these were the update statements that were executed. So that was committed already. I can see here it was committed, commit successful. Those are the changes that were made. So I can, let me try something different. So let me pick up and let me do that manually. So let's see, let me open this one. So I'm gonna type the update statement myself so you just understand how it works. So let's choose, let's update based on the customer ID. So I'm gonna change the credit limit for this guy. So let's say I'm gonna increase the credit limit for one of my customers, right? Here I have my customer, 391997, which is Danny Flores. So I can come here, select first name, last name, credit limit from customers where first name equals Danny, and then it's not first name, it's cust first name, the name of the column. So name of the column, cust first name, and cust last name, and then I can run this, isn't it? Cust first name, cust last name from customers. Oh, here, cust first name. Oh, I have a bunch of Danny here. Danny's, a bunch of Danny's. So the one that I want is Danny's Flores. So I could, if I want to filter more, I can just add here where and cust last name equals Flores. And let's say I want also the customer ID for this guy, right? Querying it. Oh, there are a bunch of Danny Flores. But the thing is that the customer ID for Danny Flores that I want, so the Danny Flores that I want is this guy right here. So I can be even more selective. I can put here and customer ID equals this one. Come on. I copied, pasted. So let me break this down a little bit better so you can see. Oh, actually, if you select this and you run here on format, this will format the SQL statement, the way it should be indented, I would say. So if I run, this is the exact guide that I want to change the credit limit. So I will run my update statement. Update customers, which is my table, set. So what I'm gonna change is the column credit limit, and I'm gonna give him a credit of 10,000. Where? For who, right? For which customer? Customer ID equals this one, which is Danny Flores that I want. Then I change the row and then I can commit. So same thing as doing this manually here, right? So if I refresh this data, we will see that the credit limit for this guy will increase, right? And voila, you have now 10,000 of credit limit, Danny. All right, this was just a brief introduction to the, database 101 for mere mortals. Stay tuned for more. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your time.